It's day 3 of NBA in the bubble. We've got 5 games to cover off today, so let's get right into it. In game 1, we have the Miami Heat playing the Denver Nuggets. This was a tight game for most of the contest, with 10 lead changes through the first 3 periods. The Heat began to pull away midway through the third quarter. There was simply no looking back after this. The Nuggets simply didn't help themselves, with 19 turnovers to go along with 32 fouls against the Heat. To put it lightly, the Heat made them pay for these mistakes, with 6 players scoring in double digits and leading by as much as 25 late in the fourth quarter. The final score, 125-105. Heat win it by 20. The player of this game is Bam. Although unusual for him, he recorded no blocks, but most notably were his 6 assists to go along with his 22 points and 9 rebounds. The surprise producer of this game was Bol Bol. He played very limited minutes and his numbers don't jump out of the page. However, it was great to see him thread the needle with an incredible bounce pass to Mason Plumlee in transition. 7'2" with guard skills like that, the sky's the limit. I'm looking forward to seeing what Bol is able to accomplish with less restrictive minutes. In game 2, we have the Utah Jazz versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. There really isn't much to say about this game. The Thunder had control for the entire game, never relinquishing their lead. The Jazz struggled mightily to generate offense, with no player scoring over 13 points. It's easy to see Chris Paul's influence in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's play, as he is clearly already becoming a well-rounded point guard. He leads the Thunder to their first win in the restart. Final score, 110-94. Thunder win by 16. The player of this game is Chris Paul. Although he is a teacher still grooming SGA in his image, he continues to show us that even in his old age, he is still good for 18, 7, and 7, with 2 steals on the night. It was disappointing to see how the absence of Bojan Bogdanovic is affecting the Utah Jazz. They need to figure out how to generate more offense without him. Moving on to game 3, we have the New Orleans Pelicans playing the LA Clippers. Although day 2 was filled with a number of exciting games, today started off quite bland, with 3 one-sided games. Although no one expected the Pelicans to be any real challenge to the Clippers, it's fair to say that this game was hard to watch, with the Pelicans being down by as much as 42 points. It really didn't help the Pelicans that the Clippers simply could not miss, as they were scorching hot from 3-point land, with 25 triples on the night. The Clippers show mercy in the fourth quarter. The final score, 103-126. Clippers win by 23. The player of the game was Paul George. He continues his incredible play from the last game against the Lakers. He's looking like he's back to last season's MVP form. Paul George shoots 72% on the night from 3-point land, good for 28 points. Although they have a significantly easier schedule moving forward, the Pelicans need to find a way to get Zion on the court for larger minutes more consistently. Moving right along to game 4, we have the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Indiana Pacers. This was the first truly interesting game of the night. Both clubs controlled the game multiple times, with each team leading by 10 at different stages. The 76ers were able to use their star power and size to force their way to the cup. This was led by Joel Embiid and his 41 points to go along with 21 rebounds. On the other side of the court, the Pacers used their quickness to force multiple steals, deflections, and turnovers. This was combined with a career night of 53 points from TJ Warren. Unfortunately for Philly, committing 21 turnovers and a hot TJ Warren are a dangerous mix. The Pacers take the W. Final score, 121-127. Pacers win by 6. Although I could easily be convinced otherwise, I've given the player of the game to Joel Embiid for his 41 points and 21 rebounds. It's a real shame that his team were unable to control their turnover volume. The surprise producer for this game was definitely TJ Warren, with his career performance of 53 points, which undoubtedly helped him and his team to overcome the Sixers. Last but certainly not least, we have Game 5, the LA Lakers versus the Toronto Raptors. Although the final score makes it seem otherwise, this was another very close game. The Raptors did have the lead for most of the game. However, they were never really out of the woods, as they were unable to keep the Lakers' feisty bench in check. The The Lakers' starting five struggled heavily, however, their bench was what kept them in the game, behind performances from Kuz, Caruso, and Dion Waiters. With the game tied with 6 minutes to go, unfortunately, the Lakers were unable to get the job done. Final score, 92-107. Raptors win by 15. The MVP for this game was Kyle Lowry, another veteran point guard that can do it all. Tonight, he performed with 33 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. The surprise performance was definitely the Lakers bench. If they're able to do this on a consistent basis, along with the normally very productive starting lineup, they should have no problems advancing deep into the playoffs.